Today I want to talk about not putting a lot of effort into things that you really want for yourself. You guys probably already know this, but I watch a lot of YouTube. Because of that, I watch a lot of things that are produced by other creators. So I was watching something the other day from Vanessa Lau, and she said something that I thought was really interesting that relates to weight loss and having a better life. She said, we all want to work the least possible to make the most amount of money. And that got me to stop and really ask the question, is that true? Like, is it reality that what we want is to make the most money without putting in the hard effort? I thought, no, that's not reality. Like, there are so many people who work really hard in jobs that make a difference, but not necessarily paying them a lot. So, people, they do it because it's good for humanity. They do it because it's good for the planet. They do it to help their local church or whatever religious affiliation they have. They do it to help the local school. And important, they do it to help people and their clients. Like putting the extra effort in to make sure that the people that you are working for get the product, the best quality product or the best quality service that they can get. And honestly, they're putting in so much energy when it doesn't impact the sale. And so for that, I feel like that's a great example. Those are great examples of where we are willing to go the extra mile to make sure that what we're putting out there makes a true difference. But the other thing that I'm going to say is that we also do it in a volunteer sense. The amount of energy put in is justified by the amount of satisfaction that we're getting out of helping and seeing like the project progress and seeing the project come to fruition. And like for volunteers, there's no financial reward at all, right? The success of the project and seeing that as a worthy task is why we do it. So cleaning up the environment, for example, I mean, sure, there's a bit of a positive if I live in that neighborhood, so I'll give you that. But what about when we go out of our way to clean up a neighborhood that we don't live in, which I've seen a lot, or go to help a community that I'm not part of? There's a satisfaction that we get that says that, I did something for somebody else and they were happy, and that therefore I'm happy for that. So it's not always about the financial gain. But at the same time, it's also not always about easy, which is the other part of that quote, that comment she made that kind of made me think, oh, maybe not, right? Because when we succeed without having to work for it, I also feel like we don't value that. So it's like success that we work hard for. A lot of the time we find that much more satisfying than success that we just, oh, that's easy for me. And then like I'm getting accolades for it. I have a harder time, I know myself personally, when people are excited about something that I did easily and I believe it wasn't hard to do and we could all learn to do it easily. If it was hard for me to learn to do, I can see the benefit in people cheering me on for that, let's say. And one actually other thing that I'm thinking about right now, which is kind of learning a new skill, like playing a guitar or doing a sport that you didn't know how to do before. Like last year when I was practicing skateboarding tricks, so not just longboarding, but the tricks, which was hard and I wasn't good at, and I didn't get to a point where I'm doing them and you're like, wow, you look like a pro. No, I got to the point where I was doing it and it was just like barely doing it. But the point was I was able to do it. I was able to make it work. Learning a new language is another example I can think of off the top of my head. Like I find learning languages really hard. So that when I do learn something in a new language, I'm appreciative of it. I live in Quebec where it's French and English, and my French is not amazing, right? And I feel like we take it for granted, all the people that struggled to learn French and then they're really proud of it. But they're proud of it because it was hard for them. Like when I'm speaking French and people are understanding me, I'm proud of myself. So these are the kind of things that I think that make us happy that we accomplished. What does that mean when we're talking about weight loss specifically? When we're talking about quick fixes, we don't tend to appreciate a quick fix, even if it worked, as much as we appreciate a longer, more involved way of losing weight. And how I say that so easily and simply to you right now is because the thing that I've noticed is that when you do the 5-minute total body workout, which is actually a thing, by the way, or the fad diets or weight loss surgery, one of the things that's really hard is that I will watch people have success in any one of these 3 areas. And then as soon as they get to their goal weight, they stop doing whatever. So let's use the 5-minute workout. You're doing that 5-minute workout. You're trying to be stronger. You start to feel stronger. And for some reason, we stop doing it's 5 minutes. You would think that that would be something that would just go on forever, but it doesn't. We stop doing it. And the question is why? But yes, I felt stronger, but the investment that I put in there was only 5 minutes. It's easy to give up something that isn't hard for me to do. And I know it sounds weird to say that. Fad diet's the same thing, where if I could just fad diets are not always easy, but if in a very short period of time, I can push myself to do something, and in the 5-minute workout, we're doing the same thing, right? It's 5 minutes. I'm pushing myself to do this thing in 5 minutes, or this diet for this period of time. I get the results I want. I'm not committed to this, because if I was really committed to it, I wouldn't pick a 5-minute workout. I would pick a workout that's going to be more whole-rounded and going to give me more than a small amount. Now, sometimes what we'll see is that we're doing it because we don't have time, or we think we don't have time. And really, what I'm challenging everybody to think about is, why am I not problem solving how to get more time so I can commit better to the workout? Why am I choosing a fad diet? So any kind of diet that I know for a fact that I'm only going to do for a short period of time, why am I choosing that over committing to finding a better way to eat and correct the mistake that I was making? And that way I can live my life into the future knowing that I'm feeding myself well. Weight loss surgery. So I really don't believe in myself at this point. I do not believe I can do it. That the only solution I have is an external intervention. And I feel like when we look at these things, what we realize is that I can't commit to this because I'm already not committed. I walk in the door not committed to my health. And because I'm not committed to my health, I'm choosing these kind of solutions. So there's a flawed thinking there, right? Because first of all, if I believe I can easily do this diet and do it again and do it again and do it again, then I'm going to see this as my get out of jail free card, right? So even with all the other options that I could have in front of me of what to eat, I'm choosing the donut still because, well, I can always use my get out of free card later. And that thinking allows us to yo-yo diet. But then there's the other side where I'm looking at weight as the only indicator of health, right? So, yay, I'm thin now, terrific. But that's not the be all and end all of you're healthy. So another point that I'm making here is that flawed thinking is all that matters is that I look a certain way. It doesn't matter how I got here. It doesn't matter what's happening internally. As long as I look thin, that's the ultimate goal. And I really want to challenge you to see that that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to be healthy, right? If we are healthy, our body will regulate our weight. If we're eating healthy foods, our body will regulate our weight. I want us to change this idea that we've been brainwashed to believe that being thin is all that matters. I can guarantee you that if you're really ill, not just having a cold or being sick for a few days, if you're really ill, where hospitalization is what's going to help you, at that moment, you don't care how much you weigh. All you're caring about is getting your body back to a healthy place where you can live your life and do your things and be with your friends. Our internal health So we can re-engage a diet over and over and over. And we can lose weight, and then, well, if we don't commit to whatever way of eating is healthiest, what ends up happening is that there could be internal damage happening. And even if I lose the weight again, if every time I go back to eating a standard diet, I'm introducing toxins, I'm introducing poor quality food, because when I do go back to the standard diet, especially if I allow processed foods to be part of my standard diet, which is typically what it is, if I allow fast foods to be a part of my standard diet, the quality of the food matters. The profile of the food matters. Am I eating a high carb diet that's damaging my internal health? The internal damage makes it harder for you to lose weight the next time around, which is the other thing that we don't think about. We're so focused on this idea that we can just do another diet, just do it again, right? And we don't realize that that damage is causing us to need medication. And that medication is also damaging so we take medications that help us with one thing, but if any of you have ever been on medication for a period of time, so more than a year, one of the things that I get feedback on often is how I started taking this medication, but then I had this side effect. So now I had to take that medication, and then I had that side effect. And now something that I was taking for one issue turns around and causes me to be taking 3 to 7 medications to solve the repercussions of having taken the medication to solve the first issue. And what frustrates me is when I could have solved the first issue with food. And I see that. I see people on medications for skin rashes. I see people on medication for metabolic syndrome issues, which we know is caused by too much carbohydrate. I see people on medications because of lung issues, which could be food. It could be also smoking, which is, again, stop smoking, and then you would solve your lung, but they end up in medications. So there are things that we are ingesting that are causing physiological problems that the true answer is stop ingesting these carcinogens, stop ingesting these poisonous foods and substances, and you would solve the problem. But no, we end up on medications. So the next problem is that the medication causes more weight gain, which is the other issue that I talk to people about all the time, is that they'll tell me, well, you know what, now I'm taking this medication and my weight is higher, but if I want to be healthy, I need to take medication, and I'm in a circle. So the medication and the internal damage then team up to cause weight gain. And that now, together, that weight gain makes it harder for you to do the first thing that you were trying to do in the first place, which is lose the weight, right? So the amount of weight that you gain after doing the diet, the first time, the second time, the third time, causes you to struggle to lose weight this time. All of the issues that we get from overeating, from chemicals in our food, from chemicals we ingest, cause a bunch of problems. And some of those problems lead to weight gain. Some of those problems lead to inflammation, which also leads to weight gain. Some of those problems lead to just metabolic and internal damage that leads to poor health. It stops us from being able to exercise and do the fun things that we want to do. There's so many other things that I know a doctor would be able to tell you more examples of this, but it all comes down to the problem of yo-yo dieting. Yo-yo dieting is not healthy to do, and it causes us to be in the bad scenario where our body is struggling just to manage. Here's the truth. Healthy weight loss is going to take a long time. If you're trying to lose weight for a wedding, if you're trying to lose weight for the summer, if you're trying to lose weight, for this short-term goal that you've put in front of yourself, and so that you're looking at your weight loss as a short-term thing you're doing, then first of all, I think you're going to be disappointed because I don't think that you're going to be able to accomplish the level of weight loss in the time frame if you're not giving yourself enough time, because weight loss takes time. But second of all, you are setting yourself up to be frustrated. Weight loss is going to mean that it changes the foods that you're going to eat. So your diet is going to change. And you're not going to be eating like your friends. You're not going to be eating like your colleagues at work. So initially, it's going to seem hard and strange to be different than everybody else. When you go to restaurants and parties, you're going to feel a little left out. And that's not easy. It's a long, hard road to be healthy and keep yourself at a good weight. And at the same time, it's not that hard. It's about committing to you, right? But what do you get when you decide to do the good work, the hard work, the interesting work if your focus is really weight loss, the interesting work? What do you get when you allow yourself to do it the right way, which means I put energy and effort into it? Well, then we get good metabolic health. We get mental clarity. We get good energy. We get strength, decreased bodily pain, better skin, and so many other things. I mean, I wish I could list all the things that you get. Your internal health is so important, and eating properly, which when I eat properly, I have less pain and inflammation, which means that my body is able to build the best quality me because I'm giving it the good ingredients to make the best quality me, which eventually translates to being able to manage my weight easier because my body isn't fighting with the food that I'm intaking. Today, the comment of the day is actually, it's a combination of multiple comments that I get very regularly. That my life is difficult, whether it's financial reasons, health reasons, challenging children, challenging relationships, whatever the situation is. So my life is difficult, and food is my only comfort. And basically, the question is, what am I supposed to do if I'm not happy because of life issues? Basically, this idea is challenging what I'm saying, which is that the answer isn't self-soothing with food. And they're saying, but food is my only comfort. And my question is for you to ask, but really, is it actually comforting you? For the comfort that you're getting, that you think you're getting, from eating poor quality food, the damage that it's doing to your physical health. So, the physiological repercussions of being overweight, the physiological repercussions of internal damage, the physiological repercussions of brain fog and fatigue, which, by the way, you probably don't even know you have the brain fog and fatigue because you're so used to living this way. Most of the people who, like myself, eating standard Canadian diet for 46 years, I did not know how much more clear I could be thinking until I started eating properly. I did not know how much more energy I could have until I started eating properly. We don't know it's happening because we're so used to living it. The solution isn't self-soothing with food. The solution is actually allowing myself, first and foremost, if my life is that difficult, to be sad, to be angry, to be scared. Those are real emotions to having a difficult life. And then the next part is to find a solution. Do the thing that's going, so find the thing that's going to help you to not be living this situation anymore. So what do I need to do for this sad thing to not be there, or this aggravating thing to not be there, or this scary thing to not be there? And again, we don't do it because it's hard, but it's the answer. Self-soothing with food only creates new problems only makes the problem maybe more. If my weight was the initial problem, it only makes the problem bigger. The real answer is looking at my situation, being a little scared or angry or sad, because it's going to be hard to change this, and then figuring out how to change it. At the end of the day, if I don't change it, I keep living it. And if I keep living it, I keep self-soothing with food. And I want to make sure that I'm clear. I'm not saying take self-soothing with food away and insert some other thing to self-soothe with, because we do that too, right? We solve the food issue, and then we end up going and creating a drinking issue or some other kind of substance issue. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying look at your real world issues, find a solution. Next week, Monday at 11:15, I'll be back. Check out my Thursday videos because those are the recorded ones and they give a lot of great information on the source. I always love making these videos for you, and I really can't wait to talk to you again next week.